Jack Halden sat in his small laboratory on Velmara, surrounded by strange plants and tiny alien creatures. Velmara was a quiet planet with glowing trees and crystal cities. It was a peaceful place, far from war or danger. Jack loved studying alien life. He was a xenobiologist, a scientist who learned about creatures from other worlds. One morning, Jack's quiet day ended suddenly. His communicator beeped loudly. It was a message from the United Alliance Embassy, the place where humans talked to other alien races. The message was short and urgent. Jack Halden, report to Embassy at once. Emergency. Zalari Queen's child crying uncontrollably. Request your help. Jack blinked. The Zalari were a powerful alien species. They looked like giant insects. Their queen ruled a huge part of space with wisdom and strength. But Jack had never met the queen or her people before. He wondered why they needed a human scientist now. He quickly packed his gear and left for the embassy. The building was tall and bright, filled with many alien diplomats. Jack felt nervous as he walked inside. A tall figure greeted him. It was Ambassador Rill, a wise-looking human who worked closely with the Zalari. Jack Rill said seriously, "The Queen's baby has been crying for days. It is more than just a baby crying. Child's sound causes strange effects, earthquakes, power failures, and even sickness. The Queen is worried it may harm her people and others nearby." Jack frowned. "Has no one been able to calm the baby?" Rill shook his head. Many tried. Healers, scientists, even other alien experts. Nothing worked. The Queen asked, "For someone different, someone with a calm mind and a gentle heart. They want to see if you can help." Jack's heart beat faster. This was a big challenge. But it was also a chance to learn something new. He nodded. "I will do my best." Rill smiled briefly. "One more thing." The Queen made a strange promise. She said whoever can calm her child will be offered her hand in marriage. Jack almost dropped his bag. "Marriage?" "What?" "Yes," said Rill. "It is a royal tradition among the Zalari. Shows respect and trust. But no one expects you to accept. It is your choice." Jack was speechless. He never thought about marriage with an alien queen. He only wanted to help the baby. Still, he felt curious. He wanted to see the Queen and her child. He wanted to understand why the baby cried so much. The embassy arranged a special shuttle to the Zalari homeworld, called Hive Prime. Jack sat quietly as the stars moved past the windows. His mind raced with questions. What would the baby look like? What made it so special? When the shuttle landed, Jack saw the Hive Palace rising from the ground. It was a giant structure made of shining crystals and glowing tubes. The walls pulsed softly like a living thing. Jack entered the palace. Carefully, many Zalari walked around. They were tall and thin, with shiny exoskeletons and many arms. Their eyes were large and bright. Some stopped to look at Jack with surprise. A Zalari guard led Jack to the Queen's chambers. The Queen herself waited there. She was impressive, taller than any Zalari Jack had seen, with golden wings folded behind her back. The Queen spoke, in a soft voice that echoed in Jack's mind. "Welcome, human. You are brave to come here." Jack bowed slightly. "Your Majesty." The Queen smiled sadly. "My child has cried since birth. The sound hurts more than ears it, shakes the land and disturbs the spirits. If you can calm him, I will be forever grateful." Jack nodded. "I will try." She led him to a small room. Inside was the baby, resting in a cradle made of crystal. Leaves. The child looked strange, about the size of a human toddler, but covered in soft, shining fur. It had 6 little arms and big blue eyes that seemed to glow. The baby suddenly opened its mouth and screamed loudly. The sound was high and strange, like a mixture of a whistle and a roar. Daka felt the walls vibrate. It was the loudest crying he had ever heard. Jack covered his ears but tried to stay calm. He knew fear or panic would not help. The Queen whispered, "Try to stay still. Do not shout or move too fast." Jack took a deep breath, sat beside the cradle, and watched the baby closely. The child's eyes were filled with tears but also fear. Jack remembered what his teacher once said. Sometimes babies cry not because they are hurt, but because they feel lonely or scared. He spoke softly. Hello, little one. Here to help. He did not try to hold the baby or make loud noises. Instead, he closed his eyes for a moment and tried to feel the baby's emotions. The air was thick with sadness and confusion. After a long minute, Jack opened his eyes and gently hummed a simple tune from Earth, a lullaby his mother used to sing. The baby stopped crying for a brief moment. Then it started again, louder this time. Jack understood the baby wanted something more. He looked around the room and saw a small glowing flower. Carefully, he picked it up and held it near the baby. The baby reached out with a tiny hand and touched the flower. It stopped crying and stared at the glowing petals. Jack smiled. He softly told the queen, "It likes the light. Maybe we can try music and lights together." Queen nodded, hope rising in her eyes. Jack sang softly and moved the flower slowly. The baby blinked and calmed a little, but then the baby screamed again, louder than before. Jack realized it was not just loneliness or fear. Something deeper was wrong. The queen looked worried. You see, no one has found what the child needs. Jack thought hard. He sat quietly and stopped trying to make the baby happy with toys or songs. Instead, he let the baby see him simply being calm. He breathed slowly, stayed still, and watched. After many minutes, the baby's crying slowed to soft whimpers. Jack gently reached out and touched the baby's tiny hand. The child did not pull away. Then something amazing happened. The baby made a soft sound like a laugh. Queen Vera gasped. This is the first time since birth. Jack smiled but stayed careful. The baby looked at him with shining eyes. The queen moved closer. You have a gift, human. You can hear what my child feels. Jack shook his head. I only tried to listen, not just with ears, but with my heart. The queen's expression changed. She stepped back and said, if you can calm him again tomorrow, you will have done the impossible. Jack felt tired, but hopeful. He wanted to learn more about this strange child in the queen's world. That night, Jack lay awake thinking. He never imagined a baby's cry could shake a planet. He never thought he could be offered marriage by an alien queen. But most of all, he felt a strange warmth in his heart, a promise of something new, something beyond his understanding. The next morning, Jack woke up early in a small guest room inside the hive palace. The soft walls glowed faintly, and the air smelled sweet and fresh. He could hear the distant hum of the hive, like a quiet song of many voices. Jack felt nervous. Today, he would try again to calm the baby. He remembered the queen's words. This was a test, not just of skill, but of patience and kindness. He dressed quickly and walked toward the queen's chambers. Along the halls, many Zalari moved gracefully, their multi-jointed legs clicking softly on the floor. Some looked at Jack with quiet hope, others with curiosity. When he reached the chamber, Queen Vea waited for him with a small smile. The baby was already awake, in its crystal cradle, watching him with big glowing eyes. Good morning, Jack, the queen said. The child has been restless all night. No one could make it sleep. Jack nodded. I will try my best. He stepped carefully into the room, trying to keep calm. The baby's many little arms reached out. As if trying to touch the air. Jack sat down near the cradle and watched the baby closely. He noticed the soft rise and fall of its breath, the tiny movements of its hands and feet. He remembered something important. The baby seemed to feel the emotions of others. Maybe it was an empath, like some stories told about rare creatures. Jack took a deep breath and relaxed his shoulders. He tried to send calm feelings without words. Slowly, he started humming the same lullaby from Earth that he sang the day before. The sound was soft and steady, like a gentle river. The baby's eyes blinked slowly, its cries becoming softer. Jack reached into his bag and took out a small light projector. It made soft shapes and colors on the wall stars, moons, and planets. The baby stared at the lights, fascinated.
Ow.
It reached out one hand and touched the stars on the wall. The queen smiled quietly.
Owie.
You have a special way, Jack. Jack smiled back, but stayed serious. This was not just a game. It was about trust. Suddenly, the baby cried again, louder than before. Jack stopped the lullaby and looked carefully. The baby was not angry or hurt. It seemed confused. Jack wondered, was the baby missing something? Was it lonely for someone else? Remembered the stories of the Zellery people. Their babies are born connected to the hive-like, a family that is one body. But Jack was a stranger. He decided to try something new. Jack gently took a soft cloth from his bag. He had learned from his studies that touch could be very important. He softly stroked the baby's tiny arms and legs. The baby stopped crying for a moment and looked at Jack with wonder. Jack whispered, "You are not alone. I am here." The baby made a soft sound, almost like a sigh. Queen Vera stepped closer. "You speak to the child in ways no one else can." Jack was quiet, but felt something warm inside him. He stayed with the baby for hours, singing, showing lights, and stroking gently. By evening, the baby was calm and even slept for a while. The queen looked relieved. "This is a miracle," Jack smiled, feeling tired but happy. After the baby slept, the queen invited Jack to a quiet room nearby. "Jack," she said softly, "your calm heart has touched us all. But there is more you must know." Jack listened carefully. The queen told him about the baby's special gift. This child is part empath. It can feel the feelings of everyone around it, all joy, all pain. Jack nodded slowly. That is why it cried so much. It felt fear and sadness from the hive. "Yes," said the queen. "When the hive is troubled, the baby suffers." Number CCT. One realized how deeply Jack thought about how people sometimes hurt without words. The baby was like a mirror, showing feelings that others hid. He knew he must do more than calm the baby's cries. He must help heal the hive's heart. The queen smiled sadly. "If you can help the child in the hive, I will keep my promise." Jack's mind raced. How could he heal an entire hive? Could a human do this? He looked back at the baby, now peacefully. "Sleeping I will try," he said. The queen's eyes shone with hope for the next days. Jack stayed inside the Hive-Palace. He learned about the Zellery way of life, their songs, their rituals, and their connection to the land. He spent time with the queen, who was wise and gentle despite her royal power. Slowly, Jack began to understand the deep bond between the queen, the baby, and the hive. He watched how the baby's moods changed with the hive's feelings. One day, Jack joined a hive ceremony in a large chamber filled with glowing crystals. The Zellery sang songs that filled the air with light and color. Jack felt warmth and peace, and the baby rested quietly in its cradle. He realized that the key to calming the baby was not just music or lights, but healing the whole hive. Jack shared his thoughts with the queen. She nodded, grateful. "You see what others did not." Jack smiled humbly. "We will work together." The queen placed her hand gently on Jack's arm. "Thank you, Jack, for your heart." Jack felt a new strength inside him, a feeling of belonging. He did not know what the future held, but he knew one thing for sure. This mission was changing him. The days passed slowly, but Jack felt something new growing inside him. He was no longer just a visitor in the Hive Palace. He was becoming part of something bigger, a story of trust, hope, and friendship between two very different worlds. Jack spent most of his time with the baby and Queen Vera. Every day he learned more about the Zellery people, their culture, and their deep bond with their land in the hive. He learned that the hive was like a living body, and every Zellery was part of it. If one felt pain, the others felt it too. The baby, small and delicate, was the center of this living body. The child's crying was not just a problem, it was a signal of the hive's pain. Jack was amazed by the queen's strength. She ruled with wisdom, but she was also kind and gentle. She cared deeply for her child and her people. Jack could see the loneliness behind her royal smile. One evening, after the baby had fallen asleep, Queen Vera invited Jack to a quiet garden inside the palace. The garden was strange and beautiful, with glowing flowers and soft light that floated in the air. "Jack," she said softly, "you have done what no other could. You calmed my child when all others failed." Jack smiled, but he felt unsure. "I only tried to listen and be patient." The queen looked at him with shining eyes. "That is the true gift. You did not fight or force. You understood." Jack nodded. "But why did you promise marriage for this?" Queen Vera sighed. "In Zelari culture, marriage is more than love. It is a sacred bond of trust and respect. When someone calms a royal child, it means they become part of our family forever." Jack was silent. The idea of marriage was strange to him, but he felt honored. The queen reached out and took his hand gently. "Will you stay? Not because of duty, but because you want to." Jack looked into her eyes. He saw not a queen, but a persona, mother, a leader, a friend. "I want to stay," he said quietly. The queen smiled, and for the first time, Jack felt a real connection. The next day, the palace was busy with preparation. The news that Jack calmed the baby spread quickly. Many Zelari came to see him, some with smiles, others with questions. Jack felt both nervous and proud. Queen Vera invited Jack to the royal hall, where a ceremony was to be held. The hall was filled with glowing crystals, and soft music echoed in the air. The queen spoke to the crowd. "Today we honor Jack Halden, a human who showed kindness and patience, calmed our child, and brought peace." The crowd cheered softly, their voices like a gentle wave. Then the queen turned to Jack. "I offer you my hand in marriage. It's not as a command, but as a choice." Jack felt all eyes on him. He was speechless. He took a deep breath and replied, "I am honored, Your Majesty. But I must be honest, I do not understand everything about your culture or what this means." The queen nodded. "That is why this is not just a promise. It is a journey. We will learn together." Jack smiled. "Then I accept your offer. As a start." The crowd clapped, and the baby woke from its sleep, reaching toward Jack with a soft laugh. Days turned into weeks. Jack and the queen spent more time together, learning from each other. Jack taught her about Earth stories, music, and laughter. She taught him about the hive, the stars, and her people's history. Jack saw the queen's loneliness slowly fade. He felt his own heart open. One afternoon, the queen showed Jack a secret room filled with ancient books and crystals. "This is where my ancestors spoke to the stars," she said. "Our history is long, but our future is new." Jack touched a glowing crystal and felt warmth flow through him. "Together," the queen whispered, "we can build a future where our worlds meet." Jack looked at her and realized something. The promise of marriage was not just about ceremony. It was about trust, friendship, and hope. He was not just calming a baby or accepting a title. He was helping create peace between two species. That night, Jack sat by the baby's cradle. The child reached out and touched his face softly. Jack smiled. "I am here, little one. We will face the stars together." The days grew warmer inside the hive palace as the glow of the twin suns filtered through the crystal windows. Jack Halden had grown comfortable in this alien world, but every day brought new surprises. Jack woke early and stretched. Was already awake, babbling softly in its cradle. Jack smiled. It was the first time he had heard the baby's laughter without any crying. He made his way to the nursery, where soft lights and gentle sounds filled the air. The room was a mix of earth and Zelari, things soft blankets from Earth glowing, stones from Zelari, plants from both worlds. The baby reached out and grabbed Jack's finger with tiny claws. Jack laughed quietly. "Good morning, little one." Queen Vera soon joined them. She looked peaceful, a warm smile on her face. "You have brought calm to my child's heart and to mine." Jack shook his head. "It is not just me. It is all of us working together." The queen nodded. "Yes, we are stronger when we listen and learn." Over the weeks, Jack helped design new spaces for the baby. Quiet gardens, soft music rooms, and places where light and color danced gently. The baby loved to explore, its many arms reaching for everything. Jack also spent more time with the queen. He talked for hours about their worlds, hopes, and fears. Jack shared stories of Earth, of its mountains, oceans, and simple joys. The queen told tales of the hive's past, of ancient battles and great leaders. Jack realized the queen was not just a ruler. She was a mother, a friend, and a guide. One evening, under the light of the twin moons, Jack and the queen walked through the palace gardens. Jack, the queen said softly, "I have been thinking. Marriage is an honor, but it is also a duty." Jack looked at her. "I know, I never wanted to force it." The queen smiled gently. "In our culture, there is a title called the Chosen Guardian. It means someone who protects, cares, and shares life not because of rules, but because of the heart." Jack thought about it. It felt right. "Would you accept me as your chosen guardian?" the queen asked. Jack smiled warmly. "Yes. I want to be here for you and the baby, not for duty, but because I care." The queen's eyes shone with gratitude. Then we begin a new journey. The days that followed were filled with joy and discovery. Jack taught the baby simple signs and sounds. The baby learned quickly, its eyes bright with curiosity. Jack and the queen worked together to build bridges between their people, humans. And Zalari shared knowledge, art, and friendship. Jack saw the hive grow stronger and happier. The baby's cries were now rare, replaced by laughter and song. One afternoon, a messenger arrived from the United Alliance. "They want to honor you," Jack, the queen told him, "for bringing peace between our worlds." Jack was surprised but proud. At a great ceremony, Jack stood with the queen and the baby. The two suns shone brightly, casting rainbows through the crystal hall. The leaders of many species came to celebrate. They spoke of hope, friendship, and new beginnings. Jack looked at the queen and their child. He felt a deep peace inside. He knew he had found a new home, not just on Velmara, but in the hearts of the Ekla. As the ceremony ended, the queen took Jack's hand. "Together," she said softly, "we will face the stars." Jack smiled. Together. The hive palace was alive with light and music as the day of celebration arrived. The baby, now a joyful toddler with bright eyes and a curious smile, played in the garden beside Jack and Queen Vera. The crystal flowers swayed gently in the soft breeze, their colors shifting like the sky at sunset. Jack watched the child with a feeling of pride. It had not been long since the baby's cries had shaken the palace, but now laughter filled every corner. The journey had been long and full of learning, but it was worth every moment. The queen approached Jack, her golden wings shimmering in the sunlight. "Today we celebrate more than just peace," she said softly. "We celebrate a new family, a family of two worlds." Jack smiled. "I never expected to find a home here, but I feel it deeply now." The ceremony began in the Great Hall, filled with beings from many planets. Humans, Zalari, and friends from other stars gathered together. Soft music filled the air, and stories of friendship and hope were shared. Jack felt nervous. This was not just a celebration, it was a promise of future and unity. As the queen spoke, Jack noticed the baby toddling toward him. The child held out small hands, reaching for Jack's face. Jack bent down and took the baby into his arms. He laughed softly as the child giggled, sound like bells ringing. The queen watched, her eyes shining with joy. "You have become more than a guardian, Jack. You have become part of our story." Jack looked at her and felt something new, love. Not the kind forced by tradition or duty, but a quiet, growing bond built on respect and care. Later, Jack stood on the balcony of the hive palace, holding the baby close. The twin suns were setting, painting the sky in pink and gold. Queen Vera joined him. "Look at the stars, Jack. They watch over us all."
Aye.
Jack nodded. "I once thought the stars were cold and distant, but now they feel like home." The queen smiled. "Together, we can face any future." Jack kissed the baby's forehead gently. We will write our own legend. And so the story of the human who calmed the alien queen's baby became a tale told across the galaxy, not of battles or power, but of kindness, patience, and the courage to listen. Jack knew that this was only the beginning. A new chapter of friendship between worlds, held together by a lullaby and a promise.